All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, illegal immigration is the migration of people into a country in violation of the immigration laws of that country, or the continued residence without the legal rights to live in that country. Illegal immigration tends to be financially upward from poorer to richer countries, and illegal residence in another country creates the risk of detention, deportation, and all other sanctions. Now, the Dubai-based Nigerians have called out the Consulate General of Nigeria in Dubai for not responding to the issues of those affected by the Dubai's mass deportation. Now, according to a video from one of the victims, about 200 of them were put in a camp by the Dubai government and claim to have no proper care or attention because the consulate is not showing up. And according to a news source, recent clash between cult group involving Nigerians in Dubai may have forced the United Arab Emirates authorities to go after illegal immigrants. Now, the Middle East country has also imposed stiffer measures in guaranteeing visas, or in granting visas to Nigerians, right? Documents from travel agencies show that the new requirements of Nigerians seeking travel access to the UAE include confirmed hotel reservations, a 6-month bank statement showing both cash inflow and outflow, and a return ticket. Now, we checked the overview of the immigration law of the United Arab Emirates under penalty and punishment. Article 30 of the immigration law expresses that if a guest goes to the UAE by any method for transportation by rupturing the agreement of the article, where no guest ought to enter the nation in any capacity without a legitimate international ID or movement archive. Also, the provisions of the article of the immigration law, Article 7, the Directorate of the Nationality and Immigration may order deportation and order the owner of the transportation to take the illegal visitor out of the country, and the owner shall bear transportation expenses. Now, the essence of immigration is to seek, of course, a better life than what one is used to. And Nigerians are known to have migrated all over the world in search of greener pastures. But when it starts to become illegal, it then turns into another conversation. So what are your thoughts on this mass deportation of Nigerians in Dubai right now that is currently happening? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1, the hashtag WayShow. All right, so when we're going to have this conversation, right, I have a few friends that live. They are residents in Dubai. They have legal jobs that they are working in Dubai. And I called one of my girlfriends, and she said, Uwa, I'm really deeply saddened that as it stands now, I'm so ashamed to tell people that I'm Nigerian, I'm Nigerian, that because now, even for them that have the legal right to live and work in Dubai,
shadow on them.
That is just so bizarre. Like, she's just trying so hard to dissociate herself from anything Nigerian and all of that, right? These people, from what she said, most of them, when they come into the country, they really do not have, the intentions to go back. And because, again, some of them come with nearly expired passports and all of those things, even renewal becomes a problem, and they are not able to even if they say, okay, they want to
travel home,
return their whatever, if they miss that renewal of their passport, the fine, when you look at the fine that is slammed on you, you just rather say, you know what, let me just if I perish, I perish. That kind of, mindset. But, I don't know, when you saw the videos going around on social media, let me start with you, Norma. What came to your mind when you saw all that video and, about people unable to come back to the country and all of that?
I said again, in my mind, I was like, and Nigeria is in the news for the wrong reasons all over again. I mean, all over the world, there's already crisis, right? We know Ukraine, Russia. There are a lot of people leaving Ukraine, finding areas to be immigrants into or to be absorbed into different countries. There are issues all over the place, and people are constantly looking for better or greener pastures. different. So for Nigeria, it's no different. We already have crisis here, and people are also looking for greener pastures. But Nigerians always forget who they are. And in our desperation to make it or to succeed at all costs, we end up using illegal means to be absorbed into countries everywhere, time without, and that's why every time I hear good news about Nigeria, I'm always celebrating, because at least it's one good thing that we're trying to hold on to do to make right the impression that we have all over the world. Nigerians need to wake up. Nigerians need to wake up. We are people who have resources. I don't know why we keep showing up as liability. And it comes from the culture that we have not paid attention to over the years. A lot of these things now, because our nation is one of those nations that are topping the chart about things anyhow, even people who are civilized will come into Nigeria and become something else. Unruly and ill-mannered because they can get away with it in Nigeria. And so we've carried that culture, that tradition, and we have taken it all over, wherever we go to. You see people coming in with no visas or passports, and all of these stories. When are we going to wake up to the fact that we have resource? We have, that the value we carry is more, it has higher value than our desperation. We have a lot of people moving out, and then for the wrong reasons. And then they go there. How can we carry cultism here in Nigeria and take it to Dubai?
That was where the problem started.
A place that is civilized, a place that they already know what they want. They have a vision. They have a mission. So they're inviting.
The religion is so strict that it's so silly.
So
for you
they
to try
are
such a
putting
thing.
in measures and regulations and policies that continue to drive.
The question you asked, you can't say that. You know
Which
why?
question did she ask?
I mean, she said, how can we carry cultism from Nigeria and take
Cultism
it?
is not even...
It's not, I'm not asking it as a question per se. As in, the audacity
I'll answer you.
Wait, go and do as Romans.
No. You don't go and do that in another person's country.
Let me answer you.
It exists everywhere, but it exists in a controlled environment.
So let me explain something to you, Norma. I'm saying that anybody can be stupid. What will correct your brain?
Is when you're caught.
No, it's not when you're caught. It's when there are laws that deals with you. Because you see, this thing we're talking about, Nigerians, so if you like, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, like illegality or whatever, you can do it anywhere. The only thing that keeps you sane, that keeps your brain intact,
that keeps your head,
thank you,
absolutely,
that keeps your head screwed on right,
absolutely,
is because you know that if you try this one here, it's not, if you leave it for the human person,
they
try it.
That's what I was saying, that you can't go to a place that they have put structure to make sure that they get the results that they want by keeping the place friendly, safe for their people. And then you forget yourself.
May I interject at that point? This thing that you're speaking about as if it's peculiar to Nigerians is not peculiar to Nigerians.
It's not. No.
Let me bring up my points because I don't write paper. Mexico and USA. It happens all the time. Mexicans try to get into the USA, and the USA tries to build a wall when Trump was there. Turkish people try to go into Greece. When America allowed a lot of immigration from everywhere else, Italians came and ran their gangs in America. Irish came and ran their gangs in America. It's consequences that stops.
Thank you.
Human beings will be human beings, animals or whatever, anywhere they go. That's one point that I wrote. Abika Dabiri Ma, I don't remember your title of heart, but she has said, so has Lai Mohammed, that even when your passport expires, you can fly home without renewing your passport. With the expired passport, you can come home. If you can find a carrier to bring you home, no problem. That's another one. We go from breaking records to breaking laws. Just last week, we were celebrating Nigerians that made us proud at the sports. Breaking records, setting new records. And then you come and disgrace us with this. But what Dubai is trying to tell you is that those people that went to do that machete attack and even got caught on CCTV, I think they were the beginning of this problem. But this is so impressive that Dubai did not waste time. in bringing about the consequences. This is what I expect Nigeria to do. Start showing them pepper immediately. Now, the problems with having people that are not documented, who have overstayed, who have used other people's identity to come into the country, is that when they start committing crimes, they're hard to find
records
and pin them down. When they start, then the country itself that they're in has the wrong census all the time. So if it's a country that has plans for its citizens, it's hard to ascertain how many people they're actually creating amenities for, because there are a lot of people that are undocumented. It's the same thing like when the Chadians started coming into Nigeria, or even the unknown men that we seem not to be able to identify as
even
Nigerians.
The bandits, they call the people from Niger.
Yeah, people migrate to Nigeria as well. Some people.
But what is our government doing about it?
This is just the difference. Every country is a desire for somebody.
Yes.
Every country. But the countries that don't take the crap and show you immediately that we're not taking the crap, somewhere where Dubai, where husband and wife can't even hold hands in public, or I don't know, show DPA or whatever, PVA, and then you now go there, you go and start doing what you did with the machete that now brought up. You remember when South Africa started saying, leave our country? We don't even want you. They weren't even fighting because of what seemed to be gangs. It was a case of, you people are too successful in somebody else's country. Leave the business, because I'm sure in their minds they're thinking this business is already established. If they leave, if I can take over. But Nigerians will make success anywhere they go. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince.
Public notice. I mean, there was a flyer that was going around that had gone to say that the immigrants there were free flights available for them. Maybe based on the provision that I read, that normally if an illegal migrant comes into the country, the carrier, the person that transported them, is mandated to return them. Maybe that's where that rumor then came out from, because the Dubai government had to bring out that this is actually fake news, that there's no such thing, that is unfounded, is misleading, and the general public are advised to ignore such malicious information and always refer to the official handles of the identity, citizenship, customs, and port security. I love when a government is working. But let me hear, Uti, your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I've said everything now. I have very strong views about this because it has far-reaching consequences beyond one country. It goes to the stigmatization of an entire nation of people wherever we find ourselves in the world. Now, I think I like to set the scene first of all, because we're talking about Dubai, the UAE, which is a country where if migrants should not have problems, it should be there, because the nationals of the country are somewhere circa 20% of the entire population. So somewhere around 2013, of the 9.2 million people that were in Dubai or in the UAE, right? What's it called now? 7.8 million were migrant workers. In that 7.8 million, Nigerians don't even feature as a high number compared to the people from South Asia, the Indians, the Bangladeshis, the people from Nepal, Sri Lanka, and countries like that. Now, how did we enter a country that is migrant-friendly and end up on the deportation list? It's a very important question to ask. Because everybody has problems. Countries, plenty. The ones that don't even have the resources or the geographical location and the blessings that we have, they have problems. Migration is not a unique problem to Nigeria. So, how did we go into a country that is seemingly migrant-friendly? Let's not forget that this is also a country with, should I say, a very restrictive country. They don't play with their laws. They don't do anyhowness. You try us here, we finish you. No rubbish. Then we carry ourselves, we go there, we do our anyhowness, and we paint ourselves in the wrong light.
Absolutely.
Then we don't expect that there will be swift consequences. It's not Nigeria, folks. You're in a different country.
You're in a different country. Absolutely. You know what, Uti? Let's take a break, because I would like you to continue on that comment, but let's just go out on a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing the mass deportation of Nigerians in Dubai. Now, remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WaveShow. All right, so, Uti, I'd like you to continue on that point that you were trying to make, because bear in mind that these people causing this very horrible reputation about Nigerians, they're not even up to the 1% of Nigerians that are living legally and working in Dubai. It is so disheartening, right, that we have things like this happening and it's all painted like it is the whole of Nigeria that has gone to mess up, you know, a country. Because now, apart from all of these things, remember that we had just taken stories about 2 weeks ago or so of them changing the visa requirements. Dubai used to be the most easiest place to go on holiday, right?
Even get your visa
on arrival and all of
Yeah.
that. You know, so all of those things, like the ripple effect and how this will even impact, right, the economy. We talked about the carriers yesterday, Emirates saying 1st of September, they are no longer coming to Nigeria, and all of these things are happening. I don't even know where to start from, but let me just continue your thoughts, then I'll come back to Laide.
Yeah, so it's a difficult thing, right? Because if you even take migration, so when Laide was talking about America, a lot of countries that take migrant workers, they take skilled migrant workers. Now, this is a country that actually takes domestic workers as migrants. So again, a lot of people end up there. Now, either you went in as documented, you went in as undocumented on a tourist visa and you overstayed. I mean, there are a plethora of ways in which you can find yourself in this state. But what upset me the most was the fact that you find yourself in this situation. If you were a skilled worker, your company will ensure, because they also don't want to lose the ability to bring in migrant workers.
Yeah.
They will make sure that you are on the right side of your documentation, right? Now, you go there, you follow here it is, how do I, show me the way. Somebody showed you the way. Either you use somebody else's passport or you went on a tourist, whichever way it is. When we get there, we will normalize, we will settle. It's not in Dubai, it's not in that kind of country where it is so strict and the laws are so tight. But you find yourself in this situation. Then, what upset me when I saw the video, you now have somebody, we already know our government, we know their flaws, it's not news, it's not a wah, we know. Then you get to the point where you now find yourself in this situation. You have done bad. Then you did not hide in one corner. You now stood and said that consular services. Would you be needing consular services if you did the right thing?
I wonder.
And did not, like literally. So whilst it's easy for us to blame the government, and we all know that even here, when they were talking about this, the problems with getting passports, even in our own home, on our own soil.
We get passports easily.
Getting passports is not the easiest of things. Now you say you want to go abroad, and you now want somebody to come and stand and say, you did wrong, but you know what, let's find a way to get you home. Let's not be entitled about our bad behavior. No. So it is for us to understand that whilst Nigeria is bad, whilst all the attendant problems are going on in Nigeria, it's not an excuse to break the law. It's not an excuse to do wrong. If you can get away with it in Nigeria, you won't get away with it abroad. So for those that are saying to their friends and family, come, we'll sort it, we'll overhaul it, we'll level out, whichever country you're going to, please. The effect it has on the Nigerians who try to do things in the honest way. People under 30 now, men under 30, single men I think under 30, can't get visas to go to Dubai. I mean, there are just so many things already against us. Can we not add to our problems by ourselves? You apply for visas to other countries in the world, you have to pass through what do they call that thing now? The camel passing through the eye of a needle. These are all the things that contribute to it. But Nigerians are some of the most educated, some of the most skilled, some of the most hardworking, most dedicated people that you can ever employ.
Well,
so why are we putting ourselves in the foot?
You know, so I mean, it's interesting. I'll come to you. It's interesting when you mention that, because the truth is, in Dubai, the locals there, the indigenes, the real owners of Dubai, they don't work. everything. They just sit down and somebody is working and they're collecting, you know,
taking care of
because
them.
the country is taking care of them. So they actually are happy to
have
have people
to
come and work for, because they don't do nothing, right? They just sit down and they're just earning money and all of that, right? They don't really do all the hard labor, all those menial jobs and all of that, you know. So it is a no-brainer that they are actually going to open up themselves to what's it called, workers coming into the country. Then you then go into the country as a Nigerian, you know, what were you expecting? Because this Dubai particularly one is two places, South Africa and Dubai. I hear a lot of young, especially when you go to the salon, Uti, you are making hair. I know how many people from the salon I was making my hair before. They go Dubai. What are you going to do in Dubai? There was one that went to South Africa. You understand? I won't go do hair business. They don't have like a specific, you know, plan. And guess what? These people are going by the minute. They're going in huge numbers. Because one person will come. And now, the conversation that I heard is that when they now get there, most of them turn into prostitution because they are not able to meet up with bills and all of that. So they now have to sleep their way through, you know, feeding, sleep their way through accommodations and all of that. And these guys that are there know that they do not have all those documentation. So they also take advantage of them.
Yes, because who are you going to report to?
Do you understand? Who are you going to report to? But let me hear your thoughts again, Laide.
About taking advantage of them. If it was a country where you know that eventually you would get residency, citizenship, I can understand you moving there. But you say you're going for greener pastures and you're living worse than when you were in your father's house. And then when you get into trouble, you start begging us to please find a way to get you home. How can you come to my father's house and come and start messing up my living room? Which is what they tend to do when they go to other people's countries. You know that you're a guest and you are taking the remote control, changing channel anyhow. I'm just speaking figuratively. Do you not understand that they will tell you that you've overstayed your welcome? Also, I find that if it's a country where the highly skilled migrants are going to, they get documentation like Uti had said. The companies that ask them to come over would always make sure that the renewals are done. You know, they have their liaison officers for such things to run protocol and make sure that they are not even stressed out about the renewals because we want you to work. Most of the people that cause us troubles are economic migrants. And we experienced a lot of them when I lived in Ireland as well. People who, they just can't see themselves ever making headway in Nigeria. It's maybe lack of education, lack of exposure, enlightenment, and things like that. So they go, okay, at least if I go and do a menial job abroad, I'm earning what is considered forex. And it's still going to be more money than I could ever have earned in Nigeria, which is where our minimum wage really has to start increasing. So that the same way Dubai is taking care of its citizens, we are taking care of our own. Most countries have been able to use the money that the snake, the rats, and the termites swallowed to create social welfare for their citizens. In which case, nobody would need to go away. They would borrow the money from even America gives pockets money when you are down on hard times. And then also,
you're out of a job for
a while. You're a single mom, all of a sudden you can't pay your bills. You can ask the government for help. I, as a Nigerian, who got the privilege of a residency permit in Ireland, was able to ask the government for help, was able to have the government pay my children's fees. Even when my daughter left Ireland to go to the UK, where the citizenship was not for, they sorted her accommodation, gave her pocket money, and also paid the fees. This is what happens when you're legal.
And this is also what happens when you have a good, right-thinking government. Because
again,
that was coming from that. The fact that so you can't tell people not to go because everybody is just trying to find a better way for themselves, right? So how can we bring this back to our governments? You know, because I always say this: our government, we do not pay enough attention to the human lives in Nigeria. We do not treat our citizens like they matter. Also, when I see people treating our citizens like anything, like trash, I don't blame them because you allowed it. Where you are coming from here. You are not being treated like you matter. But let me hear your thoughts, because how do we now take this conversation,
bring it back home,
trying to find a solution? How do we take this conversation back to our government and back to what can the government do to this people? Because Uti, we can't leave them there. So they have made a mistake. So there's nothing we can do. We have to find a way to bring them back home.
Sorry, quickly say before you start. Sorry, you remember last week I told you that Americans hardly travel.
Yes.
They've never seen passport. Most of them don't have passports because there's nothing
They
to
don't
go
need
for.
it.
This is where we need to come to in Nigeria, where our country is so palatably okay for us to be in that we don't desire to go anywhere else.
But let me hear your thoughts, Nomadi.
How
I'll
do
come
we
back
do
to Uti.
Well, it goes back to all the was say. If you noticed, even in that post, there was a video about a woman who had mentioned that some other government officials or the ambassador of other countries came to address the people who were affected by this situation and to prefer solutions, so to speak, but that our own ambassadors, they don't even know the address, that they didn't even show up and things like that. It still comes back to the culture that we have bred over time in Nigeria, and there is a need for a complete overhaul. First of all, in our values and how we see ourselves as Nigerians. We just answer the name Nigeria, but are we really Nigerians? What do we believe in? And it will take probably in the spirit of elections for us to begin to think in that regard. Who are the people that can represent us in such a way that they are thinking for the betterment of the people?
We begin to have an identity as Nigerians.
Have a mission statement as a country.
A new identity. All of these things are because over time, in the last couple of years, people with their own ideologies have come, they bring it to the table, it becomes normal for people to believe in, and that's the order of the day. If we have people who are coming in to say, okay, you know what, we need to begin to learn to obey laws. We need to begin, because if you don't obey laws, there are going to be repercussions. These activity and behavior that we see Nigerians display outside, you cannot give what you don't have.
Exactly.
If you're coming from a country where you know that if there is any that there are penalties
are so harsh
for consequences there are consequences for actions that you carry out, you will not try it outside. Because you got away with it in Nigeria, then you think that, oh, we have our way, right? In Nigeria we say we know who know no way, abi follow who know way, abi, and then you're following and you get into trouble. Unfortunately, where you are going and where you are is not Nigeria. So it still comes back to us looking inwards. Look at, literally, the whole world is shutting down on us. That should tell us something. That should point out to us that we need to sit down and begin to overhaul on our culture, our beliefs, and then begin to apply these things that we put together as our policy or whatever, as what is governing us as a people. We begin to apply to education. We begin to apply to policy making. We begin to apply it to healthcare. We begin to apply it to administration. We begin to apply it to the Nigerian citizens, so that even the Nigerians themselves can begin to have value for themselves. When you go out, you're going out as a person of value.
You know, so you know, I come from a place in the country where say our slogan. And I wait for my uncle may just make on carry me go. I mean, no, like you literally see people in 30s, in their 40s, they are waiting for one uncle. You know, a lot of people that live in Benin. You know, I mean, there was a time it was so rampant that Italo, they travel, as you see me like this, now go a day. It was a staple, you know. In fact, that was part of the reason my father said never would he raise his children in Benin. Because outside of even just traveling, it was the era of prostitution. It was the era of
going to being sent abroad.
A certain mindset.
So, and he didn't even know he was
people.
going to have girls at the end of the day. Like he just saw that this could not be a life that I wanted for my children. So that was why my father decided, you know what, let's all go. He wanted to raise his family in the north. So we had all of us there in the north. So our mindset and our orientation is different. We don't think that we are waiting to travel out to make it. A lot of Nigerians believe that there is no hope for them here. So, I mean, I've had situations where I will travel out and you don't need to go back, or just stay. Wait till they go back, go do. Wait till they're your country and all of that.
Hiding from,
you know, like it's so sad that people actually can wake up and with their full chest carry document that they know does not permit them to stay as a resident. But
that is not even their own
country. But let me hear, Uti, your thoughts on this, and we'll start to gather our comments.
I think we've sort of said it all. Two wrongs don't make it right, right? And this is an age-old problem. It's always exacerbated by the state of the economy. You see, everybody trying to get out, everybody trying to find a way to jackpot. But today, there are so many legitimate ways, right, to leave the country if you choose to. Everywhere, most countries today in the world are struggling with a skills shortage. Getting those required skills are easier than ever, and now easier than ever before, right? We are moving away from getting, degrees. I mean, there's just a plethora of options. So immigration or migration is a human right. So nobody's saying, let's not migrate, let's not move.
True.
You're entitled to. We just need to do it in a way that is not unlawful and does not shine a negative spotlight on us as Nigerians. We already have enough taglines that follow us, from card fraud, 419. I mean, it was funny, the other day we went to Ijebu, and the guest in front of us at the hotel, they gave him 419. He threw the key at them.
I will return it to.
He was like,
it's like having a phone number that has 666.
That's my number.
So I have guests coming to see me, and you are telling me I should tell them I'm in room 419. So we have a lot of problems. We can't compound them, right, by all of these kinds of things, and certainly not in the Middle East. Nobody wants to hear a story. You're setting yourself up for, I mean, these are places where you are being jailed. I think, what was it, the lady that went and tweeted that ended up with a jail sentence of 34 years. She lives in the UK. She came somewhere I can't remember the country in the Middle East. So these are countries that don't play with the law. Let's not tempt fate. Like I said, let me borrow NASA's phrase, let's not carry our anyhowness outside of our shores. But the thing is, I've seen a lot of people, what you were saying, Uwa, is so true. A lot of people have lost years of their lives because their eyes are outside Nigeria, unable to see the opportunities that exist in Nigeria. Today, the women that are frying akara on the streets, the women that are frying yam, you'll be amazed how much these people make. They may not build a mansion, but they have a living. As opposed to you going somewhere where the minute, true or false, because I even heard that the statement or the whatever flyer or notice that went out that said they should all come out and gather at the point, that it was actually fake. When you get to the point where your bags are all packed somewhere in your life, and the minute you hear
Jackpa.
Wow.
It's funny that she mentioned akara, because my neighbor just advertised that akara is available tomorrow.
Let's take some comments. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? Concerning Toto Dike's quitting of Nollywood to face her political ambition, I'm not against her following her ambition. The question is there any guarantee that she will win? Not really, she should just try. If she quits her first love, I hope she will not end up regretting it. Sister Laide saying that you look beautiful today is you using an understatement. You are blessed, and my name is Daniel Ilo. Your ways regular. So Daniel, Dubai matter no concern you.
No concern. Thank you, Daniel, because my daughter just sent a message saying, "Which did this here on your head? It's not. I'm not feeling it." Auntie, I said, "Please,
let's face our."
All right, I have a comment from Austin in Delta State, and he says, "For me, the deportation is a wake-up call for the Nigerian government to take the issue of illegal aliens seriously as 2023 elections approach. For those deported, let them know that there are job opportunities that abound here in Nigeria, even though we're in almost a failed state. You ladies have been schooling us on business opportunities, streams of income, etc. You reminded us a few days ago about working here in Nigeria and earning dollars abroad, including Dubai at the backyard virtually. So tell the deportees to consult you.
Since you know where the opportunities lie."
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you so much, Austin. Yeah, go ahead.
We are a people of great value. Oh, sorry, dear. We're a people of great value yesteryears, but this get-rich-quick syndrome is fast destroying our younger generation. Nigeria is a beautiful country with boundless freedom, and I don't know why people are running away to become a second citizen in another country. May it not concern you. You will know why they will run away, but we're hoping that there would not be a reason to.
The truth is, Nigeria... Oti, your comment quickly.
Yeah, so this one is from Elsie. She says, I believe there is some sort of full idea of a better life outside Nigeria that we need to correct. For example, my nail technician is currently planning to drop all she has worked for in Nigeria to move to Dubai. I'm probably not wearing her shoes, but I became her customer when she had just the space in a shop. Now she has her own shop and is doing well for herself. She's growing, but she has been sold the idea that there's a much better life in Dubai and everything she has here means nothing to her anymore. We need a mindset shift and a redefinition of what a better life really is. Again, I don't know her inner story, but I have seen her grow and I know she's doing okay. If I'm paying 15K to do my nails and you also have a salon space in your shop, you are not worse off. You just need to keep growing. I might be wrong, but social media and false living has become a huge problem. Totally agree.
Absolutely. You see what I said about salon? I'm telling you that the majority
All of them
of the young girls, you know, I know so many salon girls, I can count like maybe about 7
that are traveling.
that travel to Dubai. Because I don't understand what they're telling them. You know, Dubai, I mean, you made a very salient point. If I even want to even become illegal, I will go where eventually I will get citizenship.
For
a
that
friend
reason.
of mine was pregnant with twin. She fell into labor because she used to do, what's it called? Buy household items. She fell into labor one of her trips to Dubai because her main store that she shops from is in Dubai.
Okay.
And she had her twins. The only thing Dubai government did to her, they always say, thank you for bringing our babies back. They never gave them citizenship. So I don't understand who is even
Follow
feeding
person
these people
wey
their
no
mind.
road. Follow
You
person
know
wey
what?
no road.
We'll leave the matter here, but thank you so much, ladies. I think this was a fantastic conversation. We're just hoping that our government will just see some of these things and just help us, at least reduce this kind of embarrassment on the behalf of every Nigerian. That's all we're asking for. Thank you, Norma. Thank you, Laide. Thank you, Uti. Now, before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at WayShowAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Don't watch us alone, please. Invite more people. All right, we'll see. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. The word nobody wants to use, but you see it if you are here illegally, and that's the punishment, is deportation. We'll see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Ciao.